Welcome back to the CryptoWorld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Bitcoin is bouncing from this critical area of support, pointing towards more liquidations, but this time to the upside. So I'll be talking about that in just a moment, alongside Ethereum now flashing a new signal in the short term that we need to pay attention to. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, starting off on the 4-day Bitcoin chart and also taking a look at the 3-day Bitcoin chart, because over the last one day, these two charts right here have not really changed all that much. So if you're new to the channel and you want to know more about these two charts right here, then check out my last video here on the channel, because since yesterday, these two charts right here have not really changed all that much. And so with that being said, getting straight into the daily Bitcoin chart, looking at the DXY, and today we're seeing a slight bounce after that slight drop that we saw just the other day in the DXY. But ultimately, if we're looking at the trend at the moment in the DXY, this is looking relatively neutral, basically chopping around sideways, which is not really giving us much to work with for the price of Bitcoin, because essentially the DXY, when it's bearish, trending in the bearish direction, that's very bullish for Bitcoin most of the time, and vice versa, when the DXY is trending in the bullish direction, that's almost always bearish for Bitcoin. And so at least as of right now, while the DXY is just chopping around sideways, once again, this is not really giving us too much to work with based on this chart right here. But if we're taking a look at this daily Bitcoin chart, we can see obviously a few days ago, we rejected from that resistance in between around 67,000 to around 68.3K acting as resistance. And since then, we actually rejected all the way back down into this area of support again, like what we saw roughly around 1 week ago. And this area of support is sitting in between around 63 to 64,000. And so far, the price of Bitcoin is holding above that area. And so obviously this is good to see the price of Bitcoin holding above this support, because if we started to see daily candle closes confirm below that area of support, so if we see daily candle closes below around 63,000, then in that case, that would be a bearish trend reversal signal. And so for the time being, while the price is still holding above this area right there, especially in the candle closes, essentially we could still remain within the bullish trend. It's just at the moment, we're taking a bit of a pause or a cool off from the bullish trend. Because of course, during a bullish trend, we can see some short-term bearish price action or choppy sideways price action during a bullish trend, just like how during a bearish trend, we can see the same thing, just choppy sideways price action or some slight bullish price action, even during a bearish trend. And so we ultimately need to pay attention to support and resistance to look at trend reversal signals. Once again, if we see a clean break below support with candle closes below 63,000, that would be a bearish trend reversal signal. But because we have not actually seen that, at least as of right now, we have not confirmed any new bearish trend, which means at least for now, we can still remain within the bullish trend. And the continuation of this bullish trend, basically the next leg to the upside in the trend, will be confirmed once we actually see a confirmed breakout above this resistance, because obviously this is still acting as strong resistance right here in between around 67 to 68.3K, despite the trend being bullish. Once again, we can still struggle around resistance. And as for other support and resistance, in case we actually were to see a candle close below 63,000, breaking to the downside here, in that case, the next short-term support would be sitting in between around 60,000 to 61,000. And below that, we have a lot of support in between around 56 to 57,000. And as for resistance, in case we see a confirmed breakout back above around 68.3K, in that situation, the next area of resistance that I'll be watching is sitting in between around 72 to 74,000. And with that being said, if we're taking a look at this 8-hour time frame, obviously over the last few days, we've seen this bearish divergence play out exactly as expected in the form of a short-term cool-off, a short-term pullback, essentially resetting the RSI. And obviously, if you've been watching my last few videos here on the channel, you'll know since all the way back up here, I've been warning about this very bearish divergence, saying we're most likely going to continue to play out this bearish divergence here in the imminent short term. But today, I am no longer saying that. I'm no longer expecting this bearish divergence to continue to play out basically any longer than right now. And there's really two reasons behind that, and one of the main reasons is the fact that the 8-hour RSI approached oversold territories. We got extremely close to oversold territories here on the 8-hour Bitcoin RSI. And so that basically tells us that the RSI already reset all the way from pretty much overbought territories all the way down to nearly oversold territories. And that essentially is a signal telling us that we're approaching the end of the bearish divergence playing out. Because oftentimes when the RSI approaches oversold territories, those are the regions where we're looking at bullish divergences, no longer bearish divergences. So once again, that's a signal that this bearish divergence is basically over. It's already played out perfectly over the last few days. And the other reason as to why I'm no longer expecting this bearish divergence to continue to play out from now is due to the fact that we're bouncing from critical short-term support. We've actually just perfectly bounced from this 38.2% Fibonacci level of support, sitting at around 63.1 to 63.2k approximately. And here on the 6-hour time frame, that's pretty much exactly where we saw a bounce based on the 6-hour candle closes. And obviously this is also based on previous support as well, sitting closer towards around 63.2k, give or take. And obviously that's also coinciding with this support on the daily time frame in between 63 to 64,000. So the fact that we're running into critical support right now, which is acting as strong support at least for now, and combined with the fact that the RSI on the 8-hour time frame got extremely close to oversold territories, those are some short-term signals telling us that the bearish divergence has already played its part, but I don't necessarily expect the bearish divergence to continue to play out from now. And so now that this bearish divergence has played out exactly as expected, what should we be expecting moving forward? And well, first of all, if you actually want to trade any of these moves in the price of Bitcoin or any other crypto, personally, I take just about all of my trades over on Bybit. So I'll make sure to leave a link to Bybit down below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link down below this video to make a Bybit account and deposit on that account, then you could get up to a $30,000 deposit bonus, but only if you use that link down below this video. And also, if you use that link, it'll take you to this page right here, which is a massive lucky draw happening right now over on Bybit, where just by trading crypto using the link down below this video, you could potentially win up to $100,000 or free Bitcoin or Ethereum or USDT in this lucky draw. And so if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, you might as well check this out. Once again, first link down below this video. But for whatever reason, if you cannot access Bybit or if you cannot KYC on Bybit, there is also Bitflex, which is another crypto exchange similar to Bybit, but you don't need KYC for Bitflex. And so I'll also make sure to leave a link to Bitflex down below this video as an alternative crypto exchange. And with that being said, taking a quick look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, and we can see over the last one day, we wiped out a lot of liquidation levels. A lot of long positions basically got liquidated over the last one day, which is what I talked about recently here on the channel. Because of course, as I said, over the last few days, we had a lot of liquidation sitting closer towards around 63,500 to 63,000, give or take. And so we basically wiped out all of those positions as expected. But right now, considering we've already wiped out a lot of liquidity to the downside, a lot of the liquidity is mainly sitting above the current price. And now we do have a small amount of liquidity to the downside at around 62.1k to 62.2k. But with that being said, like I just said, the majority of the liquidity is currently sitting above the current price, considering we just wiped out the liquidity to the downside, a lot of it that is. And so the next liquidity that's sitting above the price is starting at around 66.9k to around 67.2k. And above that area, we still have a massive level of liquidity just above $70,000. And that's really starting at pretty much exactly $70,000 and going up towards around $70,500. And there's actually over $1 billion of liquidity sitting right at just above $70,000. So that's definitely a major price target to pay attention to as of right now. But it's important to remember that between the current price and that major level of liquidity just above $70,000, there's that major area of resistance right here in between around 67,000 to 68.3k. And so even if we see a little bit more of a bullish relief in the short term as the price moves towards these higher levels of liquidity, once again, the price can still struggle around strong resistance. And so what I'm expecting right now in the short term as the most likely scenario for the price of Bitcoin is basically a bit of a break from all of this bearish price action right here. And we're likely going to see a slight bullish relief, possibly some choppy sideways price action, but I wouldn't necessarily expect a massive bullish move straight to the upside. And so basically just a bit of a relief after all of this pullback right here, this bearish price action over the last few days is what I'm expecting moving forward just in the short term for the next 1 or 2 days or so. And with that being said, taking a look at Ethereum on the daily time frame, and right now the price of ETH is still chopping around sideways in this massive choppy sideways price range, and we're still running into this area of support sitting in between around 3150 to 3250, and below that area, if we actually were to see a strong confirmed break to the downside with daily candle closes below around 3150, then in that case we also have a strong area of support right here in between around 2.8k to 2950. And as for resistance, in case we see another bullish relief or bounce from this support right here, we still have strong resistance in between around 3,500 to around 3.6k, give or take. And above that, we have strong resistance in between around 3.9k to 4.1k. And like I've already said over and over again just recently here on the channel, we don't really have a strong trend or momentum to either direction right now in the price of ETH on the daily time frame, because the price is basically just trending sideways, playing out a lot of choppy sideways price action. But believe it or not, you can actually make a lot of easy profits in choppy sideways price action just like this. And if you want to know how to do that, then stick around to the end of this video to find out more. But with that being said, taking a look at the 6-hour time frame, zooming into the short term here, we can see a new bullish divergence is now flashing right now on the 6-hour chart, and this is potentially just about to confirm with this 6-hour candle close in the green. And this is also happening at the same time as a strong bounce from this exact Fibonacci area of support, the golden pocket, sitting in between around 3050 to 3080, which is pretty much exactly where we saw a bounce from. And so due to the fact that the price of ETH is bouncing from this strong Fibonacci area of support at the same time as flashing a new bullish divergence in the short term here, this means we're most likely going to see either a slight bullish relief or at the very least a bit of a sideways consolidation for the next couple of days here. And so essentially, I'll no longer be expecting that bearish price action, well, at least to the same degree that what we've seen over the last few days. And instead, once again, we're most likely going to see a bit of a relief here in the short term. And as for resistance to the upside, we do have a bit of resistance at around 3250, and above that we also have a stronger level of resistance at around 3370 to 3380, and more resistance closer towards around 3,500. And with that being said, taking a look at the price of Solana on the daily time frame, and obviously Solana, along with a lot of the crypto market, followed Bitcoin and Ethereum on that short-term dump right here. And the moment we started to lose this area of support in between around 170 to 175, the price pretty much saw a candle wick, just a quick dump to the downside, pretty much exactly into this next area of support to the downside in between around 159 to 161, so right at around 160, give or take. And we can see that that's pretty much exactly where we saw a bounce from. So right at around 160 and just underneath 160, we also have a decent amount of support in that price range. And now with that being said, as of right now, the price is still trading below 170, just slightly below 170, which means 170 to 175 could now be acting as new resistance now that we've broken below that area of support. And even if we see a breakout back above 170 to 175, obviously we still have strong resistance in between 183 to 187, where we've seen multiple rejections from even just over the last couple of weeks here. And we also have a strong area of resistance in between 200 to 210 based on previous price action. And with that being said, taking a look at the 12-hour time frame, we can see this bearish divergence is technically still active right now for the price of Solana. But with that being said, Solana likes to follow what Bitcoin and Ethereum is doing. So basically, if Bitcoin, for example, plays out a slight bullish relief, we're likely going to see something similar for the price of Solana. Because remember, a bearish divergence does not mean only 100% bearish price action. It can also mean some neutral price action. Basically, not much bullish price action is what a bearish divergence really means. And obviously, over the last few days, this has been playing out in the form of a short-term pullback, which is one of the most likely scenarios from a bearish divergence. But potentially over the next one day, we could see a slight relief. I wouldn't necessarily expect a massive bullish movement, but just perhaps a slight relief over the next 1 or 2 days, especially if Bitcoin plays out something similar. And once again, if you want to trade these moves in the price of any crypto, check out those links down below this video to claim those extra bonuses. And if you want to actually know how to trade crypto, no matter if the price is bullish, bearish, or chopping around sideways, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.